G'day folks, my name is Josh from Cyclones Oz, and this is your daily detailed Australia-wide weather forecast update for Saturday the 9th of May 2026. Have a look at this. It is a calm picture across much of Australia, but it won't stay this way for long. We've got some rainfall developing in central portions of the nation, as well as some somewhat significant but still coastal-based rainfall across portions of Queensland and New South Wales' eastern coastlines. It's quite an interesting picture, so stick around to the end of the video. If you are brand new to my channel, please do consider subscribing, but let's start talking about our main feature today, which is going to be that big high pressure ridge in the Great Australian Bight. You can see down here 1,036 hectopascals. It's driving a bit of a southerly flow up into southeastern Australia, and this southerly flow is bringing some cooler temperatures right up into central Queensland. It's been another cold start for many across inland regions of New South Wales and Queensland, particularly the further south you get, of course, as is typical for this time of the year. But it's our first taste of winter coming through for these regions. Of course, it is going to get a lot colder, and there will still be some warmer days mixed in here, but this is the first kind of spark towards winter moving into these regions, particularly across our far southeast. In fact, quite a few of the higher elevation population centres in Victoria and New South Wales have some snow on the ground, and that's expected to remain until later portions of this weekend. Very little rainfall coming through today. You can see once again on the satellite picture the only areas of cloud activity out here just offshore from southeastern Queensland. That's actually moving offshore associated with that cold front, and areas of showers beginning to develop up into far northern Queensland as a very weak surface trough begins to approach the coastline. But elsewhere it is a fine, clear and calm picture. Not very often we see Australia like this, but it tends to always happen in kind of the early to mid portions of May as the subtropical ridge becomes the dominant force for Australia's weather patterns. Now, let's talk about that rainfall. What we've got is this high pressure ridge into the Great Australian Bight. That's expected to steadily move out towards the east, but it's quite far south. You can see that this ridge here beginning to develop onto the latitude of Tasmania, and by Sunday and Monday, we're actually going to see this shortwave trough moving through far northern reaches of Queensland begin to protrude down into western Queensland and eastern portions of the Northern Territory, and that should allow for some shower and thunderstorm activity to develop through Sunday night into Monday, and this will persist down towards Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday through this part of central Australia. You can see those isobars beginning to kink around here, and that is a sign of that trough, particularly on the surface, beginning to protrude down. There'll also be a little bit of mid-level moisture associated with this trough, and then as this high pressure system begins to push further out towards Tasmania, you can see here the showery activity from the southerly then tending southeasterly flow for northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland should begin to increase as well towards the earlier portions of next week. So rain does begin to develop despite this very strong ridge of high pressure. Because this ridge of high pressure sinks substantially further south than the Australian coastline, it is actually going to allow for a little bit of rainfall to develop across northern portions of Australia. Now, we're not talking about too much rainfall, but a few spots could pick up some hefty falls, particularly through far southwestern Queensland, far northeastern South Australia, and eastern portions of the Northern Territory, including Alice Springs, through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Numerical forecast models are allowing this kind of rainfall to slide down that ridge, and you can see the ECMWF really making a meal out of this. Some somewhat significant rainfall accumulations expected just towards the northeast of Lake Eyre, as well as some halfway decent rainfall accumulations here between Mount Isa to about the Elliot sort of area through the central Northern Territory. It's going to be touch and go whether major population centres such as Alice Springs or Mount Isa see any types of any rainfall from this, I guess, weather event developing across this portion of Australia. My money would be on Mount Isa picking up about 10 to 25 millimetres at this point in time, but it looks like the focus of the rainfall is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday through far southwestern Queensland and far northeastern South Australia, pretty much just towards the northeast of where Lake Eyre is situated. And there could be a few spots here that pick up around 50 millimetres, some might even see 75 millimetres. You can see the ECMWF here going to town with 110 millimetres here just outside of Lake Eyre. I find that pretty hard to believe, particularly at this time of the year, but you can see slow moving showers and somewhat intense thunderstorms, or not intense thunderstorms, but slow moving stagnant thunderstorms for an extended period of time could give way to those halfway decent rainfall accumulations. The picture becomes very messy after about Wednesday and Thursday, and that's going to be because of that ridge sinking off into the Tasman Sea and the development of another but much weaker ridge well towards the west of WA. That's going to create kind of a weird, very much of a lull zone here where low pressure is going to be able to become the dominant force once again, and that should allow for some more shower and thunderstorm activity to persist in a weaker capacity through Thursday, Friday and into Saturday. If you are travelling through the region, I know there's a lot of interest right now around Lake Eyre. You should be fine, but keep up to date with the roads authorities and make sure that you're in the know with what roads are open and closed at this point in time. I believe the road between Birdsville down to Murray is still closed, and this weather event here is not going to have any impact on that. This road is likely to remain closed throughout the remainder of the year and probably into a decent portion of 2027, given how much rainfall has fallen in the last 36 months out in this part of Australia. Now, the coastal flow for Queensland and New South Wales is less interesting, a lot more normal for this time of the year, but what we see at this time of the year is when these ridges begin to push out into the Tasman Sea, we see a much more defined southerly and then southeasterly flow develop for the northeastern coast of New South Wales, and that obviously protrudes up into southeastern Queensland. So whilst today is going to be fine and quite cool for many areas, that ridge developing up the coastline will begin to produce an enhanced area of moisture through northeastern New South Wales from early tomorrow morning, and as that flow becomes a little bit more southeasterly, some light showers could develop tomorrow morning into tomorrow afternoon around the Brisbane area. Rainfall potential continues to increase on Monday. We begin to see areas of more moderate shower potential through northeastern New South Wales. You can see that ridge here protruding up the coastline. That's going to allow these winds to kind of become a lot more southeasterly, particularly for northeastern New South Wales, producing heavier areas of rainfall for those areas. And then it's going to be Queensland's turn from late Monday through Tuesday and then into Wednesday. You can see, though, the forecast keeps this rainfall very, very light. But as that ridge extends up the coastline, we will likely see some showers colliding with the coast, and it could give way to daily rainfall accumulations for coastal areas between 10 to 30 millimetres for a 3 or 4 day period. I don't expect any one location to pick up more than 100 millimetres between Monday and Friday next week, but there is certainly the chance at this point in time, with the best chance being focused onto the northeastern coast of New South Wales, likely between Coffs Harbour and Byron Bay. Most coastal locations through southeastern Queensland, including the Sunshine Coast up to the Fraser Coast, are going to push to get around 30 to 40 millimetres. Anything more than that is going to be quite aggressive, at least based off current modelling. Brisbane shouldn't get more than about 10 millimetres, and once again, with this rainfall remaining strictly coastal, inland locations, even such as Ipswich, but especially Toowoomba and Warwick, are going to be very hard pushed to get any rainfall whatsoever. The chances out into the Granite Belt and the Darling Downs, and even through most portions of the Scenic Rim, very low at this point in time. Rainfall accumulations make this look a lot better than what it actually is, particularly if we have a look at the 2-week period here, and I'm showing you this because this is what you're likely to see over on Facebook, but you can see here 2-week rainfall accumulations showing between 100 to 200 millimetres offshore. I really don't foresee that being a possibility. You can see the absolute heaviest numbers that we're seeing onshore here through northeastern New South Wales. Most of this falling in the next week, when it is more likely to occur, is at about 100 millimetres. Inland rainfall accumulation potential, at least over the next 10 days when the forecast modelling remains reliable, is absolutely zip. Into the long-range modelling, there is a bit more kind of rainfall on there, but that's just typical with long-range modelling being a lot more aggressive. But I really don't foresee this being any significant rainfall here, or to be frank, anything getting excited for, particularly for southeastern Queensland and then into the Granite Belt and the Darling Downs. Northeastern New South Wales, obviously, given they're more the coastline here running from the northeast down to the southwest, giving them that southeasterly flow coming in perpendicular to the coastline, that obviously means more rainfall for these areas during shower events like this. New South Wales is obviously going to have the easier time picking up rainfall here, but once again, given the pretty weak nature of this rainfall event and that it is only shower based, there's not much rainfall expected for inland locations, and drought conditions, as you can see, are likely to continue, with all rainfall over the next 8.5 days on this forecast modelling here, avoiding our drought impacted communities through Queensland and New South Wales, painting a very classic picture, one that we're very familiar with now on the channel, of rain targeting areas that don't need it and rain avoiding areas that really do badly need it. And you can see those drought anomalies right now through northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland. Whilst they have tapered off a little bit in light of recent rainfall in these areas, deep layer drought intensity is still very strong and very much there across most of northeastern New South Wales, with extreme values right out into our key growing regions ahead of our winter months, where our growing actually does occur through this portion of Australia. So quite a concern right now, and even for Queensland, the picture not much better, in fact very dire through the Granite Belt and the Darling Downs that do badly need some rainfall. Up into far northern Queensland, we did briefly skip through these areas at the start of the video, but as we talked about yesterday, a weak trough is beginning to approach the coastline. It is very weak in nature. You can see it here on the radar imagery. A couple of showers associated with this, but with sea temperatures really beginning to cool off here right up the far northern Queensland coastline. And you can also see wind observations out here into the Coral Sea. Whilst they aren't half bad, like I always say, 40 k's an hour is typically the threshold to see showers out here onto the reefs, moving up into the far northern reaches of Queensland. 50 k's is where you're looking at heavier severe showers. We're not quite there yet, but these showers are very weak in nature, and that is again due to the much cooler sea surface temperatures up here in far northern Queensland, preventing a lot of that evaporation from coming through. So there will be some areas of showers today, particularly for areas north of Cairns up into the Daintree rainforest. The Cassowary coast has the chance of seeing some showers through tomorrow as well, as that trough begins to sink further down towards the south. But it's just going to be a generally blustery, cool southeasterly picture right through this weekend and into early next week, with on and off shower activity expected across most of far northern Queensland, into the traditionally wetter locations on the Cassowary coast and into the Daintree rainforest. That's where the rainfall will be targeting, and at this point in time, the best rainfall potential definitely looks to be between the Daintree rainforest and the Cassowary coast. This forecast modelling here is not suggesting anything flash for the Cairns area, barely anything for the Townsville area as well, and you can see down here around 150 millimetres or so for the Cassowary coast. Nothing to write home about, even for this time of the year up into far northern Queensland. That is pretty much stock standard business as usual type rainfall. This is pretty typical as we enter into our dry season months, and I'll explain why. The driving force behind this rainfall is going to be this ridge, which is situated into the Bight today, but that's expected to get itself out into the Tasman Sea. And once we see a ridge out here into the Tasman Sea, not only does it drive shower and thunderstorm activity for northeastern New South Wales and southeastern Queensland, but the southeasterly flow extends right up the Queensland coastline. And when you couple that with the general trade flow of moisture coming in from the east, from the Solomon Islands through the Coral Sea, it actually gives a couple more months of rainfall to the Daintree rainforest and the Cassowary coast up here into far northern Queensland, also for other spots of the Cape York Peninsula too into our dry season months. But we do see rainfall continuing through May, June, even as far out as July and sometimes early August up into far northern Queensland. And believe it or not, during El Nino years, which we're moving into right now, where ridging is favoured into the Tasman Sea, suppressing cold fronts and rainfall patterns for southeastern Australia, we sometimes see more rainfall despite the El Nino event for far northern Queensland in our winter months, in our dry season months. It's a correlation, it's not a causation here. El Nino doesn't directly drive more rainfall up into far northern Queensland, but it's a bit of an offshooting factor here by having this strong ridge into the Bight that I have noticed on rainfall anomalies in researching the current El Nino event that we're moving into. So a little bit of food for thought, a little bit of an interesting event, and that is why it's so important to understand El Nino to the best of your ability, because it is not a one-size-fits-all type weather event. In fact, it's not even close to that. It is a really complex and nuanced weather event, or climate event, I should say, that influences Australia in very intricate and very specific ways as it develops, especially during our winter months, which we're beginning to see right now. It doesn't really affect in our summer months, and that's why Queensland and the Northern Territory and WA as well, where most of the weather does happen into the summer months. I haven't really been talking about those places in my El Nino coverage, and I've been getting an earful for it, to put it lightly. Anyways, elsewhere around Australia, get used to this. Very strong ridges of high pressure towards the nation's south. You can see, just as I play this through and talk for a second, this ridge is expected to remain the dominant force across southern Australia for the foreseeable future. In fact, this is expected to be the picture that we see right up to about June 1st. Now, of course, we are still going to see areas of low pressure, as you can see with this blue area here approaching the West Australian coastline, develop for portions of southern Australia at times. Of course, it's going to happen when we see swings in the southern annular mode, but we're looking at this high pressure area being the dominant force and the dominant driver for Australian weather, which means driving fine conditions and stable air across most of southern Australia, particularly into the southeast over the next 2 or 3 weeks or so. It's also going to drive those showers for portions of New South Wales and Queensland, but again, coastal based and mostly light, just the annoying, showery and miserable weather. It will allow for a couple of low pressure systems to kind of tickle the southern and southwestern portions of the coastline, particularly as one ridge moves out into the Tasman Sea before being replaced by another, but very much a stable and calm picture expected to extend across most of southern Australia over the next couple of weeks. And this is going to allow for a very calm, collected, stable, and most importantly, a dry picture across southern Australia. Not ideal as we enter into our winter months. Now, there have been some good rainfall events recently. We did have some good rainfall out here into the summer months through Victoria and South Australia, also portions of New South Wales. We've had a couple of cold fronts impact Victoria and Tasmania, which has given a couple of pre-winter fronts, or pre-winter rainfall, I should say, and southwestern WA has been blessed with a very wet autumn period. In fact, rainfall accumulations have been record-breaking for a few spots, so most areas aren't begging for rainfall right now, but trust me, by the end of May, there's going to be a lot of southwestern and southeastern Australia that is just begging for rainfall, dying for the stuff. So winter cannot come soon enough, and this polar blast that we've seen move through our southeastern portions is just a taste at this point in time. It's not here to stay, and this high pressure is going to replace it with drier, slightly warmer and calmer conditions. But anyways, that will do it for today's weather forecast update. I do hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do consider leaving a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All the support lately has been massively appreciated. But that is going to be it for me today. Have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you on the next storm. Goodbye.